You live in Portland, right?
Yeah, I've been here for... Wait, what is today? Today's September... As of tomorrow, it'll be 5 years tomorrow. So, yeah.
And you used to live in California?
Yeah, so I was born in Detroit, Michigan. I moved to California after... There's a big earthquake in 1990, the Northridge quake. And so... Basically, in Michigan, the property value is really, really low. So we sold our house in Michigan for like $54,000, which is like you could buy a car for that much here. Yeah. A really nice car, but it wasn't a really nice house. But we bought our house in California at that time was like $169,000, which is also pretty cheap for California. So, but it was because the earthquake had lowered property value so much. So we moved to the Bay Area, and I kind of grew up there. Like, I was like 12 when we moved, and then moved to LA when I was like 27, I think, and then lived there until I was 37 or 38 or something. Then moved here. So, yeah.
How was it being like? What is it like? 12 years old in 1989 in the Bay Area. Let me guess.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty awesome. I won't lie. I didn't get into. It was like I started playing guitar the day after I moved to California. So, like I was. Like my mom plays guitar, my brother plays guitar, my father plays harmonica, and he could play guitar also, and my dad plays piano, my sister plays piano and sing. Like everybody in the family played something except for me. And then we moved to California, and I had to choose. In the U.S., we have elective classes, so you have basically like you have to take English, math, blah blah blah, and then you can choose like a couple of classes of your own, whatever you want to do. And so yeah. I went to the, band class, and I wanted to play drums. I didn't want to play guitar at all. Like, and then, I got there, and my teacher, Mrs. Whitney, she was like, "Do you actually know how to play drums?" I was like, "Nope." And she's like, "Okay, go sit with the guitar players." And so like, that's how I ended up playing guitar. And I was like, well, this is easy because we have guitars all over the house. My mom's guitar, my brother's guitar, blah, blah, blah. So it was easy enough to start playing guitar, and I still always wanted to play drums, but just it's cheaper to play guitar.
Yeah. How was it like growing up in the late 80s? Like band wise, what was your first show? Stuff like that.
The very first show I went to was like in 1990. It was the Day on the Green at Oakland Coliseum. It was Faith No More, Soundgarden, Queensryche, Metallica, and that was incredible. Like that was like it's still like probably ranks up in the top 10 shows of all time. It just happened to be my very first one. But after that I started. There was like a local band in the city I grew up in called Pinole, which is actually where Possessed is from, and the band was called Heresy, and of course there was already another Heresy from England, so it changed the name to Heresy RC. For just a minute, it stands for Richmond, California, and they changed the name to Infanticide and became kind of like, it was more of like a thrash band before, and then it was like kind of a death metal band, and it was like the only other three dudes in Pinole that were into death metal. So it was like, we kind of all had to be in the band together. And so our band started playing out, and then, we played local shows with Exhumed and other bands. And man, there's a lot of bands back. There was so many bands back then. Exhumed, Pale Existence, Gory Melanoma, like all these bands that, Exhumed still exists, but then, they kind of, as bands do, they fell by the wayside or whatever. But Infanticide, I left, or I got kicked out, actually, maybe. And they actually had, after I got kicked out of Infanticide, they actually had the guitar player from Possessed fill in, like he was the new guitar, like Mike Torreo played with them, and apparently he was like a really grumpy old man, and they kind of hated working with him. But Infanticide sort of morphed into Impaled in the meantime, and I was in Exhumed, and then all the original Infanticide guys at that point were basically out of Impaled, and then I rejoined with them as Impaled, and then that's kind of how that all started.
For how many years were you in Exhumed?
Originally, so I've been in Exhumed 3 times. So originally, like just a couple of years, like from like 96 or 97 to 99, and then again from like 2002 to 2004, and then again from 2000 like 10 to 2011. So in total, like only like 6 years, but over the span of like 20 years,
Yeah, but you were a part of one studio album. It was All Gods No Glory, right?
Yeah, I did that one. I was on. I was on as a guest on Gore Metal and Slaughter Cult, and I also played on Garbage Days too, which I don't know if that really made it outside of the U.S. or not. But
I have 2 different versions of it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Trapped Under Ice, perfect.
Yeah, it was like the best fucking. That was those tours in 2000 to 2004 was in support of that, and so that was we played the shit out of that song. I mean, we like toured. We had we also were playing other stuff too, but in 2003 we did a tour that was 5 months long. It was like, yeah, it was 125 shows in 135 days with no 2 days off, only like 1 day here, 1 day there, so we played, the US, Canada, probably the US again, Europe, Australia, Japan. We played in Iceland.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was gnarly. And then, like, as soon as we got back from that, everybody was like, fuck you. I don't ever want to talk to you again. So, but we did a little bit, but yeah.
With my old band, the Arsenal Project, I think the maximum amount of gigs in a row was 75, but it was only
still a lot.
2 or 3 days off because of canceled shows, not planned.
You're right. You didn't even get a chance to like work, like figure out what you were gonna do. You're just like, I guess I'm stuck in Frankfurt, so I'll eat hamburgers all day or whatever.
When out playing it for 125 days, you have to know the guys pretty well. So like, who is the member in Exhumed you have known for the longest amount of time?
The guy that in Exhumed that I've known the longest, who's still in Exhumed, is Matt. Like, I've known Matt for 25 something years. Like, we met really early on when Infanticide started playing shows. Like, one of our first shows was with Exhumed. We used to play in this library in San Jose. I was actually just outside of San Jose, so we would play like in the basement of the library. They would have shows, and so we would play with Exhumed there all the time. And so like, yeah, that had to be like, like 94 or 93 or something that I met Harv. So it's been a long, I mean, I've known Ross, Impaled that long, and Sean from Impaled have known that long, and Raul and Cole, the old drummer from Exhumed, and, all those guys basically just, we've known each other for fucking ever now. So it's like, whenever we see each other, it's like, oh, okay. It's like hanging out with family,
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Who is the most social one in Exhumed?
Oh, by far Matt, easily. Like Matt's just like he would just go talk to somebody if they were wearing like a Protector shirt or something. He'd be, oh, fucking Protector, fucking that band rips, and then just start fucking yelling at them, So that's Matt. Like he's probably one of the more outgoing people that I know.
Yeah, so I guess he's the best drinking buddy also.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. Like me and Matt have done some. Oh boy, we've done some extreme hard partying, but yeah, and a lot of puking there too, and diarrhea and everything else. So,
Awesome. And Impaled, do you have plans to release any new stuff?
We have for the last 5 years, we've been talking about doing something, but actually Jason, the guitar player in Impaled, he's written 7 or 8 songs that I just checked out recently. I was like, oh, there's already half a record done, but then it's like those guys are just like, we've got their other band, so it's either things come up or, you know, Sean just had a kid and Jason has a kid now. Ross is busy with the other band and all that stuff. So, we always talk about it, but we haven't done anything about it. We're lazy as shit. So, you know, Raul is like the one who's like, definitely like, we should fucking do another record. And I actually wrote music for it also, but we haven't really done anything just pure laziness, basically.
When growing up, did you come from the punk scene or the metal scene, or was it like a mixture between it, or?
I started out with metal. Like I was more of a metal guy. Like Guns N' Roses led to Metallica, Slayer, all that stuff, you know. But there was a really big punk scene, arguably a much bigger punk scene at the time in the Bay Area than a metal scene. So I would go to this place called the Gilman. It was like, the Gilman was like it's probably like Cafe 44. I've never been to Cafe 44, but it was, you know, it's like just a disgusting, stinky, like, you know, knee deep in piss everywhere you go, stickers all over the wall, spray paint everywhere. It's just like one of the grossest places on earth, but like there would be tons of punk shows there. So I would start seeing, you know, all these punk and crust bands and stuff. And I got really into that too. So it's like, there's debate on whether people are punks that like metal or metal guys that like punk. And I'm the latter of the two.
Were you ever into black metal?
Oh yeah, for sure. In the like mid '90s, when I first heard it, I was so bored with death metal. Like I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, this shit rips. This is great. The bands then weren't very good. I just like really lo-fi and aggressive, you know. So it was kind of spoke to me there. So I listened to quite a bit of black metal. And I still listen to, you know, some black metal. I don't listen to a ton of metal. Period. These days, I mean, I listen to like a lot of old stuff. Like I listen to old Entombed and Grave and Dismember and stuff like that. But three Swedish bands, of course. But I was always a huge fan of the Swedish bands. Like all that early Swedish stuff was just exactly right by, you know, my shit for sure.
The reason why I'm asking, because I find some inspirations of black metal when I listen to Impaled, like, especially when they're like synthesizers coming in and it's like lifts it up, sure. And you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There was definitely I mean, even on the first record there was like there's a riff. I think I'm gonna sound like an idiot because I can't remember my own songs, but I think it's in Gornography. It starts that was directly inspired by Dot Imsgard. I know I'm butchering that, but the band Dot Imsgard, they had a song on an EP called Satanic Art. The song was called Traces of Reality, and it's like the riff is like 144 notes long. It's just super. It's not difficult. It's just really long, and we're just like. Me and Sean were just like, oh, do I want to write like a super long fucking dumb riff like that? And so that riff was like directly inspired by that fucking song. So
instead of mashing two chords.
Yeah, I mean, because we did plenty of that too. So, you know, there's a lot of two chord fucking bullshit on the first Impaled record, but you know.
And your project Lightbreaker, when are you gonna release full length?
Yeah, this is so embarrassing because like that, I started writing that in December of 2017 and I finished like May 2018. I recorded the whole thing and then, you know, I was having problems with the lyrics, so I hired an actual sci-fi writer, like a woman who writes sci-fi books. And I was like, she was all like, what kind of music is this? And I was like, it's metal, you know, like extreme metal, I guess. And so she wrote lyrics, but she wrote more of a story. And the story was really, really good, but it was really hard it wasn't lyrical. And so I did all the death metal vocals, then I had singers on it also. And the singers were like, they're like, this is too hard to work with. So, again with Sweden, it was the project was kind of inspired by this band Oxyplagats, which is not really a band. It's Alf Svensson from At the Gates. It was like his solo project. It's really obscure. It's really, really nerdy. It's so fucking nerdy. It's just like the dorkiest metal ever, but I fucking loved it so much. Like that, the second record came out in like 94 or something, and like in high school when I heard it, I was still in high school in 94, and like I was just like, oh my god, this is so amazing. It's like it's I mean, if you hear it now, you'd be like, oh man, it's like bad drum machine, you know, paka 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 paka, you know, it's like it sounds worse than like a Dark Throne record. But it's so good. It's like really symphonic, and I just want to do something different, like that I've never done before. And so, you know, I wrote this the record's been done for like years at this point, but in the middle of actually recording all the vocals, one of the vocalists moved across the country, and she doesn't have a way to finish her parts basically. And so it's just been on the back burner for like 2 years now. So it's super embarrassing that it's been done forever. And then now I like go back and listen to it, and I'm like, oh man, do I want to put this out? Because like, you know, grindcore dudes are gonna be like, what the fuck is that? You know. so you know that like I kind of get a little like self-conscious about it, but it's a really good record. It's got like, you know, it's got some more aggressive moments too, but it's also got some really soft, like symphonic-y stuff too. So yeah, that's Light Breakers. I started just recently writing more of that, and it's a little more aggressive because I was just like, man, if I ever play this stuff out, you know, I'm gonna like, I would just have to like, you know, hit play on a computer and then like walk away and like go get a beer or something for like 5 minutes on some of these parts. So, you know, I was like, I better write some more guitar stuff actually.
I have my own project. For I don't know, it's like 5 or 6 years ago, I just sat down, bored as hell with my. You don't see it here, but I have it on my second camera. With my synthesizer, and I wrote I think it was 7 songs about space, about flying saucers and like
dude,
like that. But no lyrics, at all.
Yeah.
But all the musical parts.
That's the hard part.
Yeah,
the hard part is
maybe.
the lyrics for sure.
I'm not sure. I have a hard time writing decent lyrics, and I really enjoy when Adde or Jocke in Birdflesh comes up with like, yeah, this is the lyrics, just scream it, you know.
Yeah, right.
I really suck.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the other thing about hand me a set of lyrics and I'll figure it out. But that's the other thing about the Oxyplagats record is that the lyrics are incredible. They are so good. Like I feel like the guy must have lifted them from a book or something because they are so good. It's like the second record, Worlds and Worlds, which is the better of the three, is like the lyrics are, man, I'm spending a lot of time on this, but the lyrics are just magnifique. They're perfect. They're just like it's all sci-fi, like really well written about an alien species that carves out a moon and moves across the universe because there's an organism eating their son and all this. It's so good. It's so fucking good. So yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. If you check it out now, you'll be like, wow, what the fuck is this guy talking about? This sucks, but it's so good.
It's Ronald Hubbard stuff. You know this guy?
Yeah. I mean, I read L. Ron Hubbard before Scientology, I guess. I read there's a book that he had called, I think it's called Hammerfall, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm sure that's where they got the name because it. Also, this is a piece of trivia. If you know the band Decapitator, Matt Harvey's thrash band.
I think I saw a shirt. I never heard it.
Yeah, it's thrash stuff like 80s, German thrash style
with
stuff.
a K, right?
Yes, yeah.
And
it's like an upside down axe handle.
Yeah.
So I was actually originally in Decapitator, and we were called Hammerfall, and then because of that book, and then a couple months later, Hammerfall was everywhere. So it was like, oh well, fuck, we can't do that.
Even though they suck. No.
Yeah, they beat us to the punch by just a minute. So
about the very good lyrics, Murder's Construct.
Oh,
God damn it! Do you have any plans on doing something more with that?
Yeah, actually. So I've written more music for that recently. we kind of like when I moved up here, because I was an LA based band, so when I moved up here, that sort of just kind of by default sort of stopped being a thing. And then I recently re-released the record. I remixed it and remastered it. Recently, and so while I was doing all the mixing and stuff, I was like, man, this stuff is like pretty good. Like, there's some really good music on here. And so I was like, yeah, I should so I wrote some new songs, and then like we've kind of been, me and the bass player have been talking about it a little bit, and nothing definite, but like, I would like to do more of that. Yeah, I need to get my fucking guitar back and start playing that shit or something. But yeah, I think we might at some point do another record or something.
How is it working with Travis Ryan?
Travis is a very intense guy. So he's Travis is like, he is. So the way that you or I think about guitar and like how you really want to work out everything, every little detail, you know, like that's Travis with vocals. Like, I mean, when I do vocals, it's like, you know, it's like whatever. It's fucking not a big deal. But Travis is like, okay, I'm gonna do like my lows here, then the pterodactyl high here, but then I'm gonna fucking do this and this. So it's like it's really intricate, the way he thinks about vocals. He's, you know, I think he's like one of the best vocalists, period. So that was why when we asked him, we didn't expect him to actually say yes. I was doing the vocals originally, but it was starting to get like some of those songs are actually kind of difficult, and so I was like starting to fuck up while I was like trying to sing them and play them at the same time, and I was like, man, this fucking sucks. So I was like, let's just get a vocalist, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to do that live.
Yeah,
you want to look cool.
Right, exactly. I would rather be doing a windmill and looking like a fucking idiot than like, you know, like staring at my hand all, God, I'm sucking ass right now. You know.
But amazing. I agree with you about Travis Ryan. One of my absolute favorites. Amazing vocalist. I really enjoy all the cattle decapitation stuff, but especially like the 3 last full lengths.
Is that the first 3?
No, it's the Death Atlas, the latest one.
The 3 latest, yeah,
the 3 latest.
I was gonna say it's a weird thing with Cattle is that I honest to God, I feel that they're a band that's got like their first few records are okay, but like they've gotten better. Like most bands get worse over time, but I think that they've actually really honed it like to a fine point. Like they actually get better with each new record. Like starting with Anthropocene Extinction or something, or maybe it's the Monolith of Inhumanity. I forget which one came first, but
the Monolith came before that one.
Yeah,
the one with the
those are right, yeah. the whole Planet of the Apes thing. Yeah, it's funny in the studio when he was doing that stuff with Murder Construct. I was like, nope. I was just like, I kept shutting it down, and then eventually, you know, he kind of warned me. He's like, dude, either I'm doing it my way or fuck you. And I was just like, all right, fine, like, you know. And so I'm sitting there all like, like, you know. But then, you know, in the first song, he's like, I'll take a sharp blade, I'll take a bullet, you know. Like he does this, and I was like,
what's it called?
Red all over. Yeah. Red all over. Yeah. It's like I couldn't imagine it any other way now. It's like it's perfect in there. So I was like, you know, that was definitely a case of me being extremely closed-minded and like, you know, living to regret it. So or not, because Travis actually did do his thing and like it came out.
You grew. So. You grew as an artist.
Yeah, I grew as right. That's rare, you know, especially when you're 40 plus fucking years old. So.
Yeah. But it's fun. I really hope that Death Atlas, that the next Cattle Decapitation album won't be like the Black Album, and then the load and the reload and all that bullshit.
Right.
You know? But as you said, I also think that they have become better all the time. Yeah. It's like it's funny because Metallica, for example, it's like the first album is good, and then it's only going downwards.
Right.
And sometimes in the middle it only got a little bit cheesy, but now it's just fucking bad.
Yeah, it's you know, I heard like I've never heard. I have to be honest. I haven't heard any of like the newer records all the way through. So like some of that stuff, I just like I've never heard Saint Anger all the way through. Although I actually love that Saint Anger snare tone. I've been mixing it in with my snare tones on my records and shit. Like not. Well, yeah.
Don't say too much.
Yeah. A little studio magic, but yeah, like I heard some of Death Magnetic, and I was like, this is pretty good, except that like they don't know when to fucking quit. Like some of those songs would be like pretty goddamn decent if they just were like a 5-minute song and not a 14-minute song where they repeat the entire song 3 times. Or they repeat the entire song 3 times. Or they repeat the entire song 3 times in the song. It's like, man, you guys, like, you don't have to write an epic every time. Like it can be a 3-minute song. Like a 3-minute new Metallica mosher would probably be in the same room is decent, you know, like fucking like I don't know if it would be good, but like, you know, like I think another thing that really bums me out about Metallica is like you see them perform now, James doesn't have any grit to his voice. Like he sings like he doesn't have any of the, you know, the fucking like the heart, like the
Just,
you know,
just make his throat thick.
This yeah, you know, it's like it's just singing, you know, and it's like, man, this is so. Like it just cuts the balls right off it. Like it just like
and too many oohs and oh.
Yeah.
We always
so much of that
shit in Birdflesh. We always do like
yeah. It's like, hey, did you want a hot dog? Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, man. Yeah, I mean, like I have a ton of respect for the guy. Like, you know, we were just on Saturday, like me and my friend Keith were doing a studio thing where we were talking about thrash and stuff, and we wrote a thrash song, and we're just doing all this right hand, like just down picking hard, and like, you know, just like, oh, like real Hetfield style shit, and like, man, it's like that shit's fucking hard, dude. That's like it's like legitimately difficult to just down pick, you know, and so it's like, you know, I was just like, man, like I just, you know, it's like the Grinch. Like I felt my heart swelling up with all this pride for James Hetfield, but it was like, then again, I was like, well, James Hetfield also sings fucking the thing that should not be now, and it's like ruining the song for me too. So I'm like, man, fuck, dude. Like, you know, just put some of that grit back in your voice. I know you've had training and everything, and it goes against all that, but just do it, just for the fans, for me, for little Leon Del Muerte from Portland. You know,
they are from Portland.
No, they're from the Bay Area.
The Bay Area, yeah, of course. Oh,
right.
now I'm just acting stupid. Fuck yeah, the Bay Area, of course.
Yeah,
damn. Bay
but
Area
originally
thrash.
they're from LA, so yeah. I mean, basically, like I don't know if they necessarily invented Bay Area thrash. That might go to Exodus or. Shit, I don't know. Somebody
Death
else.
Angel?
I think Death Angel was a little later on the scene, but like I feel like Exodus is the original Bay Area thrash. I don't know. I could be totally wrong on that. I might be speaking out of my ass. So, you know.
Yesterday, I tried to go online and find the Instagram, the Facebook of Nails, and it's fucking gone.
Yeah, and so's their Facebook page and everything else. So, I don't know. This is probably not exactly breaking news anymore, but yeah, I don't think Nails has been a band since March. It's I've been out of the band since last October. We had a disagreement about basically I was asked not to play in any other bands, and I was like, I can't agree to that. I have, you know, at the time, at least, I mean, not right now, of course, but at the time I was playing in 3 other bands. I was going to fill in at a festival with another band. I'd been learning their set, and I just said no. And they're like, okay, well, you're out. Well, not they, one guy said that. And so I've been out since October rather. And then in March, I shouldn't tell the other guy's story. I'll let them speak to it. But I think basically the same thing happened to them, and they said no also. And so I think the band's been done since March of this year.
Who's the guy calling the shots in Nails?
That's Todd. Todd is the he's the it's always been his band. And when I was in the band, it was very clear right away that I was just. I was actually legitimately in the band. The first tour I did, I was just a fill-in guy, but on all the stuff after that, I was a full member. But it came with the caveat that this is Todd's band. This is not. I mean, he wasn't like a dictator about it, but in some ways he kind of was. So it was kind of like whatever he wants to do, and I was fine with that. Like it's better to understand your place in a band than to think you're in one spot and not be. But yeah, it was, it was definitely, when I got the actual offer to be in the band, it was definitely like, okay, you will do this for Nails when, like these are the rules and stuff. So it's like, it's the weirdest band I've ever been in. Actually, I've almost exclusively been in bands with people that I was friends with before, and I didn't really know the Nails guys before I was in the band. Like, I mean, the first time I met Taylor and John was in the rehearsal studio rehearsing with them. And that was another thing too with Nails, is that I only in the 3 or 4 years that I was with them, I'd only rehearsed with them 4 times. A lot of times, like, they would just send me a video and be like, hey, here's how the riffs go. And then like the next time I'd see them would be on stage and we'd be playing the songs, which is a little difficult. It's, the songs aren't difficult themselves, but like, not playing with somebody and then just going right up on stage and playing music is, no matter who it is, even if the songs are really easy, is still, you get a different vibe in the studio than you do from listening to the record and stuff. And so, yeah, so some of those shows were a little awkward for me. And there was on the very first tour, like there was a song where Todd forgot to send me a riff. And so the very first show, we'd show up in Chicago and we're going to play, and like we're like doing a sound check we're playing the whole set in the sound check because the set was also only like 26 minutes long. And so we get to the last riff and I'm like, oh, I thought we weren't going to play this part. And he's like, why would you think that? I was like, because you never sent me the riff and I don't know how to play it. And so I had to learn the riff right there and then play it again like 3 hours later. And it's not a difficult riff, but it's off time. And so it's like, I had to, in my head, count like the beats. So like, I'm the whole first part of the set, I'm like thrashing, rocking out, fucking going nuts. And then the very last song comes and I'm just like, all right, good night. Like,
Sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was rough.
But just imagine if they wouldn't have told you at all, and that part came.
Yeah.
What a fucking nightmare! Really nightmare.
Yeah.
I could actually have nightmares about that kind of stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I guess I would have just started ripping a solo or something. I don't know, but
yeah, exactly.
Actually, to be honest, actually that also had happened. That we played another tour where the first night of the tour, people were going nuts, and it was kind of an early show, and so they were like, you guys still have another 20 minutes or something if you want, because again the set's like 20, it's like a half hour maximum, and so there was one song that we all knew, that I knew also, so we did that, and then Todd was like, okay, we're gonna play this song, and I was like, whoa, I don't know that song, and he's like, it's easy. On stage he shows me the riff. And he's like, that's how you play it. And I'm just like, okay. And it's like, there a change? He's like, yeah, it changes to this riff. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And so they start playing, and I was just like, I started walking off the stage. I was like, I can't do this, dude. This is too weird. And I was just like, I'll let them play it. They know how to play it, and it sounds fine. It's just a, wall of distortion anyway. So, and then like our tour manager, like I walked back there and I was like, I don't know this fucking song. And he's like, get back out there. And he like pushes me back out, and I'm just all like, play the song. And we're just like over there looking at Todd's hand, like, God, fuck this riff, man. Like, So, yeah, that actually did happen. That was a literal nightmare. I was like on stage not knowing a song. Yeah, it's not my favorite thing that's ever happened on stage.
Oh, holy shit! And you were on one of the recordings, right? It was the seven
The
inch.
very last 7 inch, yeah, yeah. We
Yeah.
did so what happened was we actually had studio time booked. We were going to go record a full length album. So Nails works differently than a lot of other bands that I've been in, where like they book the studio time first and then write the music, or they'll have a few songs written but not finished. And so it kind of like puts the fire under them to write the songs. And so the studio time was booked. And it was getting kind of close, so we did not have a record. And so we were just like, well, we have these couple songs, so let's just record those. And basically, we just recorded the songs that we had, and it was just those two songs that made it to the 7 inch. And I think there's a remix on there by Igor Cavalera. I don't have the 7 inch. I've never actually heard it.
Not
I've
me
heard
either.
the song. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I've heard the song when they sent me the masters, but I never heard I've never heard the 7 inch. I don't have one, so yeah.
Oh, weird. Why?
I mean, I don't I don't
Would you like to
usually
have it?
I don't usually tend to keep my own merch, to be honest. Like it's like I'd rather just sell it, and like if somebody wanted it, like I would if even if I had the 7 inch, if somebody was like, dude, I'll give you $10 for that, I'd be like, here you go, it's yours. It's like I'm not like even Murder Construct stuff. The only reason I had any of that left was because I couldn't sell it because nobody wanted it. So, that was the problem with that. But yeah, I'm not like sentimental about holding on to. And when well, actually now this is like 10 or 15 years ago, I found an old Impaled shirt and then I posted about it. Somebody was like, dude, I'll give you $15. I was like, all right, here it is. Like, just have it, So I was like, just give me the postage. You could just have it. Like, as long as somebody's out there wearing it and enjoying it, like it's just going to sit in the closet for me. So I would never in a million years wear my own band's t-shirt unless it was like laundry day and I had which is not true because I wouldn't even wear it on laundry day because I have like 500 black t-shirts with a white logo across them. So like there's never going to be a time, and I have a washer and dryer in my house. So there's never going to be a time where I need to wear my own band shirt on laundry day. So
Murder Construct or Hammerfall?
yeah, I'd wear a Hammerfall shirt just for, see if it gets me in any fights or something.
Wait, that was your band, right?
Hammerfall was the original name for Decapitator, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
Juicy
fucking with you.
tidbit there, yeah.
Should we talk about a band? I don't know if you want to have this discussion. I don't even know if I'm allowed. Maybe I'm hitting too much. Ghoul.
Oh, yeah, sure. We can talk about Ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so people have thought that I've been in Ghoul since Ghoul began. Like, I'm always like, people have tagged me in pictures of Ghoul. They're like, "Oh, fucking Leon, I love your new band." I was never in Ghoul. Like, and I'm not saying that to protect the identities of the innocent or whatever. I literally was never in the band. I've been on stage with them where I got punched by a robot. That's like the extent of my the extent of my participation in Ghoul. And of course, those guys are very old friends of mine. Two of those guys were my best man and the officiant at my wedding. So so we go way back, and the other two guys are also like really close friends too. So but yeah, I've never actually been in Ghoul. So it's, people ask me still to this day. I mean, not as much anymore because now people kind of know who they are. And they're not trying to hide it so much. Like in the early days, they were like, I told a friend of mine in France, he asked me, like, he's like, "Who's Ghoul?" And I was like, "Oh, it's Sean and Ross Impaled." And then I got an email from Sean, I think, and he was like, "Hey, please don't tell anybody. Like, we're not trying to, they weren't trying to piggyback off Impaled. Like, they were trying to, be their own band. I think, I can't really speak for them, but, I think that they were just like, oh, we don't want this to be like Impaled side project or whatever. Like, they wanted it to be stand alone on its own merits, that kind of thing."
Okay. Oh. In your opinion, what was the best album? What is the best album you've ever been a part of?
I really like the Murder Construct record, and I really like the Intronaut record, and I really like the first Impaled record. Those are the very, very best of the. I mean, the Murder Construct record, I wrote like 70% of that. The Impaled record was more collaborative, but the Impaled record, that I haven't really had like a writing partner like it was with me and Sean. Like when me and Sean wrote the first, and Ross contributed at least a song, maybe 2 songs to Dead Shall Dead Remain. Definitely Back to the Grave is all Ross. But I haven't had a writing partner like that in like, God, that record's probably like 20 something years old now. That's sad and scary, but it was like me and Sean were just like, we lived together. Like we would just sit on the couch and we would like play GoldenEye and get drunk and then start writing lyrics and writing music. And it was really, really fun. Like that record was just absolutely the most fun record to write. So with Murder Construct, I wrote the other guys. Kevin wrote 2 songs on the Murder Construct record, and Caleb wrote a song, and then I wrote almost everything else. I think with their help, like they would help me with arrangements, be like, this part sucks, so get rid of it, kind of thing. But for the most part, I think I wrote the entire EP if I remember correctly. Probably also with some help from those guys. Although I sort of forget. Somebody was actually asking me if I could show them how to play a song from the EP, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't know how to play that stuff at all anymore." So, I probably have tablature somewhere, but I'm a tabbing freak. I tab everything I write, so almost everything I've ever written, because I'm really forgetful. And like I have just like hundreds and hundreds of guitar profiles of just tablature of all my own dumble and like tons of shit I've never even used. I'm like, I'll use this someday, and it's like, okay, that was written 24 years ago and it's still sitting there, so maybe not. But I guess, I don't know, overall favorite, I don't know. It's a toss up between those 2. That Intronaut record was also really fun to write. That was another really collaborative thing. And in fact, like with that record, I was like the worst musician in the band. So like the other guys, they were like, they'd be like, okay, so play a minor third down from there, and I'd be like, what fret is that, bro? Like, okay, all right, well, that's right over here, right? Is
2, 3, 6, 5.
Yeah. Those are the only frets I know, right? 0, 1, 4, 5. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that can be. I went to music school in high school for 3 years, and it destroyed my brain pretty much. But you also learn like the basics, like I don't know all the English words for it, but like the
Music
minor,
theory,
major, but then the mixolydical. I don't know the English word.
Mixolydian,
yeah. So when you start playing with punk musicians, or
you tell them a minor third to like get out.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's like, how can you make a riff out of like 0, 1, 2, 5? It's like, what scale is that? You're not even using scales, but in the end, it's like what sounds good is good, right? It's just like that. But I was really, really stuck in like different scales and stuff like that.
Sure.
And there was a time when I like sometimes like listen to like Symphony X and like like
wow, yeah,
like
super shredding like
and I used to play the piano, by the way,
okay.
I've always played the guitar, but I was like really interested in,
I mean, you are an excellent guitar player. You are a much better guitar player than I am, for real.
No.
For sure, absolutely. I saw that acoustic thing you did the other day, and I was just like, holy shit, I could never write music that complicated. Like, this is a couple months ago.
Picking?
Yeah. I was like,
thanks.
But so speaking of all that stuff, like I did go back and study music theory later on. Like I started like probably like 6 or 7 years ago. I studied, and when I was still in LA, I studied with this guy named Jason Schimmel. He was in this band, Stratosphere. And then when I moved here, I studied at this place called the Portland Guitar Academy with Sybil Grace. And she is just like absolute shredder. Just like, so on day one, I went in and she's like, all right, we're going to see how fast you play. So it's like, pick a scale and then we'll just keep playing until you start fucking up. And so, I picked harmonic minor. Every metal person should know the harmonic minor scale. So I'm just like, okay, so we got up to like 360 BPM before I started fucking up. And I'm like, I bet you don't get many students on day one playing at 360. She's like, well, actually, she's like, your shredder's probably about like 600 BPM, your virtuosos like 900, and your absolute pinnacle top tier guys like 1200 BPM. And I'm just like, oh, fuck my life. Like I'm too old for this shit. Like I can't learn it, like I'm too old, too dumb. Like I have reams of paper of stuff that she's written down for me. And I'm still like, Mary had a little lamb, like so bad. But I have retained enough of that stuff now that it's like, okay, now when somebody says like minor third, like I know how to make chords and so, and like, it's not so foreign now, but it's still like, like I know the circle of fifths and inversion and blah, 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 like all that dumb shit, but it's not dumb. It's the exact opposite of that. But it feels like, oh, this is stuff I'd never used for 26 years, and I've written whole records of garbage music that people buy. So, like, it also thought there was like a part of me that thought like if I learn this stuff, then I'm going to sound like a butthead from Musicians Institute. Like, everything I write's going to be so boring and so in key and so, but that's not true. Like if you know the rules, it doesn't mean you can't bend and break them and whatever. But also, it doesn't make you a worse player. That's just an absolutely stupid thing to think, but I thought it. So,
And music always sounds better when you start breaking the rules. So
exactly,
so anyhow,
right.
Good music is good music. If a riff sounds good, it is good.
Right, exactly.
It's like the theory behind it. It really doesn't matter. And Nails is a perfect example of that. Because some of those riffs, they're fucking brain dead.
Yeah, I mean, if
no disrespect.
Oh no, absolutely. If you've been playing guitar for like a couple months, you could probably play like.
Oh yeah.
A decent double-digit percentage of the Nails catalog, but it's like at the same time, like I've never done a tour before where every single show is sold out. So, you can't tell people what to like. So it's for me as a guy who's studied a little bit now and I hold myself up on a pedestal a little bit or whatever. It's like I'm just like, wow, this riff is so just like and there's literally a riff. Hang on a second. There is a riff in the set. This is the big riff.
Yeah, it's
set with that riff every fucking night.
But that's the end riff of Unsilent Death, right?
It's the last song on the first record. I forget the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is the big outro. Every night we play that riff. That's all there is to it. It's actually C sharp, and C. So it's just two chords, It's like, so that would get people fucking going ape shit. Like there was, some of the most violent shit I've ever seen in my life was playing that riff. So. You can't tell people what to like, people like what they like.
But as a new guitar player, I guess it would be more time consuming, like finding the guitar and the guitar gear than like learning the riffs.
Yeah, right. Buying strings and learning how to string your guitar would be infinitely more difficult than playing that riff. Yes.
Wait, listen to this.
Yeah, you show that riff to your mom, she's gonna be so proud of you.
But it's fucking great anyhow.
I know, man. It's like I would get so into that riff too, and it's like, I could, all day long, but it's like that would be the riff that just like at the end of the set, just like, with like, swinging the axe and like throwing my guitar around and just playing the shit out of that riff. So yeah.
Have you ever been kicked out of a band?
Almost all of them.
On tour?
Oh, not on tour. Nothing for like disorderly conduct or like pissing on somebody's fucking clothes or something like that. But
remember me. Just remember me to tell about a story about piss later on.
Will do.
Please continue.
Never on tour, but like with things towards the end of Intronaut, like I really liked being in that band, but there was like I also like it was like for me that band was very restrained. Like there's like there's a lot of low quiet moments, and there's like more kind of jazzy stuff where you kind of have to take it down a notch. And for me on stage, like I just would get really frustrated because it's like, I just want to fucking thrash, just like I want to freak out. And then like, at Intronata is just like, it could be so like, I don't know. I just, there's something about her. I just started kind of not caring, and honestly being a dick. Like it was totally my fault. And they rightfully kicked me out, for just not giving a shit basically. And yeah, the first time with Exhumed, I got kicked out because I was too broke to be in the band. Basically, I was like couch surfing for months at that time, and like no job, like just not holding together my part of the deal, and with Impaled, the first time with those guys. God, I say first time with all these bands because then, like, at some point also, like, I grew up and stopped being such a fucking asshole. And so, I think when I moved to LA, like when I first moved to LA, I was just like super reckless. It's like, fuck everything. Let's do all the drugs and fucking get drunk every night. And I didn't care about anything. And then at some point I just was like, I don't want to be this type of person anymore. And so I like started being less of an asshole and started, being a little more. Nothing like that, thankfully. I just found that being an asshole sucked. So, I mean, God's an asshole too. So I don't know if that works, but, just I don't know, just like not being such a dick to and just respecting other people, the way, like, just putting myself in other people's shoes, I guess, is something that like I learned to do and got better at, and like just not realizing that it's not just all about me, I guess. So I grew as an artist. So
You grew as a person, man.
As a person, yeah.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, son. Do you work full time with music, or do you like have extra jobs, or?
Yeah, I have a day job. I've worked for a company called DreamHost for 13 years now. We do web hosting. It's not the most exciting stuff on earth, but I used to. So now I do project management, but I used to work in our data center. So I would build hardware, like build servers and maintain them and like deploy them and stuff. And I love doing that stuff. Like I love fiddling around with hardware. Like that is at 100% my favorite thing to do. Like I build computers as a hobby. Like every 2 years I build myself a new super like high powered machine. I build them for my friends. I built them for other bands, and I even just built one for Ghoul recently. And but then was doing that job, and basically the only pathward up from that was to what I'm doing now. So I decided to take it. And so my job, I've been working from home for a couple of years, and it's not the most time consuming thing that I do. So it's like, I work, I probably shouldn't say how much I work in a day, just in case anybody from work sees this, but, I don't spend my full day, working. I mean, and I think that we're a company that's honest with ourselves that, nobody does that really, except for a certain few type of jobs. in the company. So yeah, I spend a lot of time building out my studio here, and I've spent a fucking shit ton of money in the last like year or two, like building, like getting monitors and amps and cab simulator at Kemper and all the interfaces and everything, and just trying to get it to like have a cool guitar lab where I can record any type of guitar that I would need, and trying to kind of break into the business of making like the Wheelmust song, like that kind of stuff, like doing
the jingle,
the jingle, like making jingles and incidental music for stuff.
Insert jingle here.
This is me rocking
Did you ever read the lyrics for it?
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Yeah. Want to get your ugly face on camera? Wheelmust.
Yeah, that's it.
What's the... Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah.
Like, Wheelmust.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Ugly face on camera. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, there again. Papa Het strikes again.
So, is this the studio that you called Beastman?
Yeah. So Beastman's. A couple of people have asked me what about that, because they think I'm talking about myself. I'm not very beastly, but I had a cat named Fatso Beastman that passed, and so I named the studio after Beastman. But yeah. So edit here. I'll send you a little quick studio tour, and with the phone camera, and yeah, it's very modest. But for guitar and vocals, like, it's perfect. I couldn't record drums here yet. I do actually have a room for that, but I don't have the mics and stuff or the know-how, so that's something I got to learn. But yeah, like for guitar, this is a total guitar lab. Like everything with guitars, like amps and cab sims. I can record, actual cabinets. I got some mics in there for doing all that. Some nice monitors, blah blah blah. This is my studio mic actually right here. But yeah, this room is getting to the point, like all this shit in the background here. This is, soundproofing and sound absorbing. And now I fucked up the focus on this thing. So I'll just be blurry. Yeah. Why not? Fucking camera, dude.
You look like a cinnamon bun.
Yeah. What the fuck, dude?
Just stay there and
there we go.
Hey, there we go. What would be your best tip for new beginners about equipment, about getting cheap solutions and gear for a good price?
Yeah.
Where to start?
Buy used. Like a lot of the stuff that I bought was used, and I started out very, very modestly. I had a Roland quad capture that my wife bought me for my birthday a couple of years ago, and then I had I didn't even have real studio monitors then. I just had a decent pair of desktop speakers, but they had a real specific boomy EQ curve. So then, I sold those, and then I traded up to some Yamaha HS7s, and then I sold those and traded up to Atom A7Xs. But so, just start. I wouldn't go whole hog until it's what you want to do. Like, just, buy some used gear. Check it out if it's something that you like doing. It's, I like really nerdy, in-depth things where you get to fiddle around with the little itty-bitty fucking things for hours and hours. And, it's like, excuse me. It's like I'll start recording stuff, and then all of a sudden, oh, God damn it. Fucking thing. All of a sudden I'll notice that my wife will be like, it's time to eat. And it's like, oh shit, I've been sitting for 8 hours. Then I'll get up my back and be all, I'm like, oh, it's fucking terrible. But yeah, it's gotta be something that you've got to put the time into. So I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a professional even a little bit, but I've definitely sunk hundreds and hundreds of hours into fucking learning every little thing about this, and constantly upgrading my gear. Even right now I have yet another new interface coming in, and a reamp box and all this other stuff. So it's just if you like not having money, it's a really good option. So
Yeah. I feel that. What's your favorite recording studio that you've been to?
So I haven't actually spent that much time in. I mean, I've recorded a million things, of course, but like I haven't spent that much time in any professional studios. The biggest bummer of all with Nails was that that record we were going to do was going to be at God City with Kurt Ballou, and I was so that was, to me, that was even more important than the record. Was like, oh, I just want to go to God City and just like, ooh, with all the amps and shit and fucking, just like sit there until I passed out from being such a fucking dork, but it didn't happen. So that I assume that would have been my favorite studio. Like, we recorded the Murder Construct stuff and the Nausea stuff with my friend Sean in his studio, Architeuthis Studios, and that was really fun. But that was like inside of a rehearsal studio. So like we rehearsed there and we recorded there. So we, and then we would also party and get wasted and there and while we were recording and stuff. So it wasn't like, we were on the clock super hard, like, I'm at a big fancy studio. So yeah, the truth is that I want to have the coolest studio I've ever recorded in someday. So, that's a fucking dick thing to say, but yeah.
No. But I really dig that idea. Of course.
Yeah.
You got to have goals. You got to have a dream, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, always. Like,
do you do studio stuff yourself? Like you how do you guys record?
In this room.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah.
Everything except the drums, and I soundproof a wardrobe.
Gotcha. For the vocal
it's like
booth?
a walk-in closet, and we keep all the merchandise inside there too.
That's great. That's perfect, right? Like this is what the extra room in your house should be. So.
But for that type of music, I guess when we send the songs away to the mixing and mastering studio, we always feel like, oh, this vocal part sounds like shit. We need to do something about it. But now we have learned that it really doesn't matter. We are just too critical.
Of course.
just send it away, and it sounds cool when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah.
Who do you guys have doing your mixing and mastering?
The Extreme Graveyard Tornado was. God damn it! Ask me another question.
Yeah.
The unreleased one. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you about Piss.
Oh yes, right. Yeah, glad you remembered.
The unreleased one, I can't. Yeah, fuck it. The upcoming release probably it will be released this December.
Awesome.
We have mastered it and mixed it in Studio Overlook in Gävle. It's the drummer of
with
Gadgets.
William. Yeah, William Blackman. Right? Yeah. Awesome. I love that guy. He's fucking awesome. I've actually asked him to mix stuff for me before. Like I wanted him to do the Murder Construct record, but at the time, that we did it, it was like kind of unfeasible for me to upload all the tracks and everything to him with my slow, shitty internet. But yeah, I love his stuff. I think he does a fucking awesome job.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Wait.
No Let's get all the. Oh yeah, I feel better.
About Piss though.
Yes, right.
On the upcoming release, we have a song called Piss Boy.
Okay.
Adde in Birdflesh, he has a huge problem when he's getting drunk, and this is not his. It really isn't his fault.
He's got that little Greek bladder. It's just like it won't hold any piss. I assume.
He got the Greek piss brain. He wakes up. He wakes up in the middle of the night and he can't seem to find the toilet. One time he was pissed in my whole fucking suitcase, and this was at Obscene Extreme. All my newly bought merch, all my vinyls.
Damn it! Fuck.
Boy, it only gets worse.
Oh, perfect.
Him and his future wife. They went to Las Vegas and they met up with what is his name in the Phobia?
Bruce.
Bruce and his beautiful wife
Carrie.
Carrie.
Yeah.
Carrie. And they went to get married. I think they had like Elvis Presley as the priest. And,
Yeah,
stuff like
very
that.
Las Vegas type wedding.
Yeah, for sure. And the wedding night, he woke up and he pissed in the whole suitcase of his wife.
Oh my God. Ade, what's wrong with you? Jesus, fuck.
So, I think the lyrics went, and it's bad English on purpose here.
Sure.
First of all, it's nothing sexual. I would argue it isn't even his fault. But every time he gets the booze, he mixed up the toilet with your shoes.
That's fucking fantastic.
And the chorus, piss boy, he's gonna piss on me. Piss boy, he's gonna piss in you.
Oh God. Yeah. Poor guy. That is just, now I know, never share a room with Ade ever. Like, not a tent, nothing where your luggage is gonna be. I did not know this about Ade, but I'm glad I know now. I feel like a better person for knowing this.
You have to check it out later. Piss boy. What's your best tour memory about piss?
Oh man, there's probably a lot of those. I remember on an Intronaut tour. Actually, God, I don't actually remember. I know I peed in somebody's boat. And I just jumped in and just fucking peed in it. That was actually probably a fucking asshole maneuver. But man, pissing on tour, that's always a thing. Like, you know, I don't know if you guys have the term piss grenade, or where you pee in a Gatorade bottle and then, like, when you're in a van because you can't pull over because you're running, 5 hours late to a show that you've been driving 9 hours to.
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, perfect. So I was like, fuck, I should have set myself up for a piss grenade. I could have done a demonstration here. But yeah, a lot of there's been a lot of piss grenade mishaps for sure. I have like a vague recollection on a phobia tour of like peeing in a bottle and somebody drinking it, but yeah, some of those tours, like, there were probably 10 minutes in a day where I wasn't fucking drinking. So like, it's like, all right, wake up. It's like, we're at a bar. Like, we're just waiting for him to open. And then that was the 10 minutes that I wasn't drunk. So, some of those early tours were, like that. Man, I'm totally blanking on a good, we got a lot of, worse actually, which is a lot of poop stories and fucking people pooping in things that they shouldn't, and oh my God, so much shitting my pants, like, on tour, like just like, like, we'd be in the van, like, everybody's farting, just like, and then like one guy pushes too hard, it's like, and you're like, oh fuck. That's happened on more occasions than I care to admit.
You know this band Tinner? Tinner? It's like Tinner. Tinner.
Oh.
A band from like a Finnish island between Sweden and Finland.
Okay.
We were out on tour with them, and the drummer, he's the worst drummer in the world, by the way. He can only play D beats, and his fill-ins. That's real. They are always out of rhythm, and he knows about this.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
that's fucking perfect.
The worst D beat kind of stuff, but like still good songs.
Yeah.
But this guy sucks.
Yeah.
But he's a really, really, really funny guy, and it's like missing one tooth, and he looks like somebody that you're.
It's like a Finnish hillbilly, right?
It's just a fucking crazy guy. But
yeah,
we arrive at Obscene Extreme, where we all know that he shit his pants before we arrive, because he's a fucking fart machine.
Yeah.
So shit is
Sounds
fucking.
familiar.
It's called trousers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know these Pringles boxes. Pringles. So
is this
trousers
going
in it? And then put the chips back on top. and just walks to people like, hey, do you want some crisps? Yeah, sure. Like eat it. And like the last guy picks it up and like sees the shit.
It's all turned.
Like shit. and fucking, it was the worst.
That's so rough.
I would have been so pissed off if it was
that
me.
last guy. Oh my god. Don't you smell it at all? Like, I mean, Pringles already have a distinct odor.
The smell of piss and beer and weed is amazing. If you like Rancor, you definitely have to come to Obscene Extreme. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Well, okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It smells like fun, god damn it. That's what it smells like.
Beer, piss, and weed and shit.
Yeah.
And then more piss.
It's a distinct melange of odors.
I smell Frenchman. God damn it. What is your favorite festival? For me, it's definitely Obscene Extreme. 100%.
Yeah, that was one of the best. That's so when we played. I've only played once somehow. Like over the years, I've just missed out. So I've only been to and played Obscene Extreme once. It was so fucking awesome. But that's the first. I don't get super nervous before shows really anymore. I usually I'm just fine. But I mean, when I played there at Terrorizer, I got up on that stage. I was like, oh fuck, there's 10,000 people here or something, or 5,000 or whatever, and I'm just like, oh fuck. And then I immediately I can't remember the first riff. Oh god, fuck. Oh fuck. I'm just blowing it right now. I mean, it eventually worked itself out, but it's I did not play well at all. I was so fucking nervous. I mean, even I only start really getting nervous when I fuck up, and then because I was nervous, I fucked up, and then the fucking up made me fuck up more because I was fucking nervous, and then it was this horrible cycle of just playing shit, and I was oh my god, this is terrible. And then between every song at Obscene Extreme, this guy kept yelling out, "Dead Shall Rise! Dead Shall Rise!" every song, and so we just play the record in order, right? It's if you know the record, you know that Dead Shall Rise is track number 14 of 16 on that. So it's it's at the end of the goddamn set, dude. Just fucking relax. We get to fucking Dead Shall Rise, and this guy's dead, and I'm all pissed off and fucking nervous and fucking up, and I on the very last da 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 da. I rang out on that last note, rang out the wrong fucking note, and just and you can see everybody on stage fucking, what are you doing? And I was oh fuck, I blew it. Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, I mean, there's some people there that I hadn't seen in a while. Patrick from Ingrowing, and I think I saw you there, right? Yeah, I saw you and all the general surgery guys were there, right?
What year was it?
2015.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, yeah.
It's some of these memories is just blurred out.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry. I know I met you the first time in Germany, right?
That sounds
Exhumed,
right.
Atheist, Romper Macabre, and Birdflesh.
Fuck, what a show, man. God damn.
That was the first time I saw Exhumed, by the way.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, that was the first time I saw Macabre, actually. And I just and Birdflesh, too. Or no. Maybe I'd seen Birdflesh already at Maryland Death Fest, because you guys play there every other year. So I've seen Birdflesh. yeah, maybe Birdflesh, but you never met me before, because I wasn't at the first time at the MDF. I kind of knew Ade, I'd met Ade through Yuke and the rest of the guys, but yeah, I think that was probably that was Hamburg or
Hamburg. It was a great after party.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember it at all, so it must have been awesome.
Fucking great venue and fucking great people. I really dig the German people that like the metal venues, because it's
I know that show wasn't
support.
I know that show wasn't at Hoffenklang, but I fucking love playing Hoffenklang. It's they're so good to us there. All the tons of food and they're just take all the beer you want and whatever. It's there's Germans
maximum 3. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, yeah, right. It's you could have one more when you're done playing. But I mean, Germans are so weird to me because they're Germany is the size of Texas or something, and it's right in the dead center of Europe. So they get every tour, no matter what. Like their whole tours happen inside Germany, and so they're extremely spoiled when it comes to metal shows. Like they never like where I live in Portland. It's like San Francisco is like 12 hours south of here, and that's the next closest major. Oh, there's Seattle's above us, but like if you're coming up from California and you're going up the butt of Oregon, like a lot of people just skip Portland, so it's like we don't get every show. So but Germans, they get every show, so like they're kind of like, yeah, I've seen Exhumed like 10 times this year, so today is they're very boring, they're so there's no energy tonight, and you're just like, fuck you, man, I'm fucking tired, I'm like sleeping all day in a bus, and then I'm drinking, But then, like, they talk shit about you all day, and then they buy one of every piece of merch you have. And then, like, the venues treat you really well, and they put you up, and they got a nice place to sleep. It doesn't have bed bugs and whatever, You
did a perfect German accent. I had a huge problem, like, talking to a German guy once. He was talking about his favorite grindcore band.
Of course.
Magrugra.
Is that Magruder Grind?
Exactly.
Okay.
It took me like 10 minutes before I actually understood what the fuck he was talking about.
That accent is harsh, man. Fuck. Especially when you get the guy who's like, I'm sorry, my English is no good, and then and then he's just like excited and fucking. I mean, we call that the German compliment, by the way, when somebody talks like shit about you all day and then buys all your stuff. Like we call that the German compliment. That's when man, it was actually kind of rough when Terrorizer was out there. Like we played a fest called Inflamen, and so that one, and so we played out there. And we're setting up, and some guy's like, "Where's Pete Sandoval? Yeah, we want Pete Sandoval." And we're like, "He's not in this fucking band, idiot." And because this guy's being super obnoxious. And then like, man, so we start the set, and I'm kind of fucking pissed because I was like, this guy's just like fucking you, yeah, Pete Sandoval, yeah, fuck you, yeah, and we're just like, god, fucking asshole. So we're like playing like extra fast, we're all angry, like fucking. And then he's like, yeah, at the end of the show, of course, he's like, yeah, you guys were very good. Wow, it's fucking great, man. And we're like, fuck you, dude. He's buying everything. Like, god damn, fucking German compliment again. So
perfect word.
Yeah. I mean, I've had very few bad shows in Germany, like very, very few. But it's always. You feel like you're walking into a trap or something because somebody's going to talk shit, and then you're going to be like, man, fuck these guys. And then like you play, and the guy's like, yeah, you guys suck. Give me large, medium, and small, and then 10 stickers and 4 CDs also. And you're like, fuck, dude. All right. Like, it's like, you want to punch me in the face? Fuck it, go for it. As long as you keep buying stuff.
Support the band, man.
Yeah, right. Support the scene, bro.
Of course, asshole. I guess that was French.
Honestly, the very first show I ever played in Europe, I've been like dying to tell you this when you first said French guys, but like the very first show I ever played in Europe was in Paris at La Loco, and it's next door to the Moulin Rouge, or at least a place called Moulin Rouge. Anyway, so I'm super excited. It's my first time in Europe. Fucking just like I'm like 24 or something, like young and just like all, oh my god, I'm gonna see everything, I'm gonna take pictures of everything, blah blah blah. I lost my camera, of course, like day one, but like, so we're in Paris. The tour is Inhumed, Cephalic Carnage, Exhumed, and I was already a fan of Inhumed, so I'm super fucking excited to see them play. I think what the fuck are they called? God damn it.
The band I'm talking about, their French grindcore band, Sub.
Anyway, I think that they played, or at least they were there. And Inhume starts playing. They fucking just rip. They're so good. And then between the songs at La Loco, there's steps going onto the stage. And I've never seen anything more French than this. Is like between the songs, like the guys that were in this extremely violent pit, like one of the most violent pits I've ever seen in my life. Just dudes just fucking cranking each other in the face. We're just like, oh my God, like we're up in the balcony, just like, oh my God, like somebody should call an ambulance or something. This extremely violent pit. Inhumed finishes their first song. Dudes run up to the stage, just like the kiss on the cheek and fucking, and we're just like, what the fuck, dude? This is the most French fucking thing I've ever seen. It was amazing. Like it was so. Like, also me having just been in France for the first time in my entire life, I'm just like, oh, that shit's real. Like, people really do that. And like, a dumb American. Yeah, I was fully a dumb American, but I was like, oh, this is amazing. This tour is going to be incredible. So,
I think it's the only country in Europe that does that. I haven't seen it in other places.
The
it's
kiss.
Like stereotypical. So the first time we played in France, it was a kissing on the cheeks.
Yep.
And just guess our dinner. It's like baguette with the red wine.
Yeah, right. Of course. It's the most French shit possible.
My name is Lupin.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's funny too, because in the U.S., unless you're on a bigger tour, you actually don't usually get catering at all. Like, there's no food backstage or whatever. So that was also weird for me, because like we're backstage and there's like food everywhere back there. There's like all these like fucking weird mustard and eggs and all this weird shit. Like, I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, is this? I'm thinking in my head, I'm literally thinking, oh, there must be a bigger band playing after us tonight or something, because this can't possibly be for us. And so but I did notice that a lot of places you go to in Europe, the what we would call the Euro sandwich, it's like a baguette with one extremely thin slice of ham in it and butter. And that's like you would see that all over Europe. Like, just like, that's the best. I mean, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying that like it's food. Yeah, it's food, but it's like crosses all cultural and physical boundaries. That you get the Euro sandwich in the Netherlands and Germany and fucking Belgium. You get it in Italy. Like maybe not Italy so much.
You haven't played a Scots style. They don't. They only give you vegan food.
What place is this?
Squats, like abandoned buildings that punk.
Squats. Yeah. I've definitely played some squats. Even on that Terrorizer tour, we played a squat in Potsdam, and we've had the what they call punk stew, which is just like just a bowl of whatever. I don't even know what the fuck flowers or something.
I was raised on punk stew, man. I was raised on it.
Ellie, you're a big boy, so it's worked out for you, Yeah, fuck, man. Punks. I'm actually missing punk stew right now. I haven't had punk stew in fucking. Oh my god, the shit. I can't even remember the last time I played in Europe. I guess it was with Nails at Hellfest a couple of years ago or something. Like, god damn, is that right? Fuck. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been back over there. No, maybe it was fuck no. God damn. It's been like at least a couple of years, and I haven't been any shows here either in the last. I was at a show when they closed the border. Basically, I was in Mexico. They closed the border on like March 16th, and I flew home on March 17th. So I was like, oh fuck, like I wonder if I'm even gonna be able to get home, But actually, it was like the best flying experience ever. Like, both airports that I had to go through were completely empty, and it was like. I was like one of 20 people on both flights home. So it was like, oh, this is fucking great, But yeah,
Crazy.
I haven't seen a show since March, and that's like.
They've opened up shows in Sweden, but only for a maximum 50 persons, and they have to put up tables, so only 4 around every table. So put up 15 tables. No, that's many. 12, 48. Sure. Yeah, 12 tables.
Math is hard.
There is usually bands that maybe gets 150 people, maybe a little bit more on the weekends. So the pre-sales goes like this.
Yeah, right. Every second, the second they start selling tickets, it's already over. Yeah. It's I mean, it's I don't want anybody else to get sick. Obviously, everybody should be stay. I mean, I think it's probably much worse here than. Probably Sweden. Well, Sweden actually had issues with it too, because you guys locked down later than I think most of the rest of Europe, right? So it's like it was.
I think it's 300 people dead in Denmark. I guess it's maybe 400 or 500 each in Finland, and and Norway. But Sweden is bigger, of course. We are like almost double the size from Norway, but we have like 10 times at least. I think we're up to 5,800, something like that.
Fuck. Yeah,
But
I mean,
it sounds a lot, but
I mean, compared to the U.S., like we have, like we're approaching 180,000 dead. I mean, of course, you know, the U.S. is significantly larger than probably all the. It's probably about as big as most of Europe combined, I imagine. But maybe not quite. But geography rather, not my strong suit. But yeah, it's incredible. But I mean, you know, it's like I hope people stay home and we can get this shit done, but we have so many fucking wild rebels that are like, I won't wear a mask and blah blah blah. And it's like, man, you're just making this worse for yourself, for everybody else. Like, we're never gonna get fucking live shows again until you stay the fuck home, asshole, and like stop your bullshit. So
I'll do everything for my country.
Yeah, except wear
a mask.
Yeah, right. It's god, it's truly embarrassing being an American sometimes. Like, these last 4 years have been among the most embarrassing on record. You know, and then this is the icing on the cake, of course. But yeah, it sucks. But man, I just want fucking shows to, like, I just want, you know, whatever it is, the vaccine, people fucking wise up and start doing their part and whatever. But like, goddamn, I cannot wait to just be at a show with a beer, talking shit about stupid things, you know. like that's
damn.
like, yeah, we're never gonna get show. Like, we're probably looking at like middle of 2021 or something here in the States. Like, everybody else is like, you know, I see in countries where it's like, you know, they're basically past it now, and it's like,
Czech. I actually see like pictures from Czech where like Gutalex is playing. You know Gutalex?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, it's like a 500 or 1,000 or 1,500. It's like totally sold out. It's like fucking crazy. And they're like past it, more or less.
Yeah.
But god damn it, I've talked so much about fucking Corona shit.
I know,
like,
we could totally change the subject. But yeah, I shouldn't even have gotten into it, but I miss music so much, man. It's fucking like, you know, that's my selfish reason for wanting to fucking get out there again, is that I promise I'll sit through all the shitty opening bands. I swear I'll watch them. I'll buy their shirts and their stickers. You know, just let me go see a fucking show. God.
You know, the Burfish guys, they have worn masks for over 25 years.
Yeah, right. So you guys you were right. I'm way ahead of the curve there. So yeah.
We haven't drunk Corona either.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Have you been to Mexico? Have you guys ever played there?
Yeah, like 2 years ago, and we passed the Corona brewery. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Corona is huge there, but I think Tecate is even bigger. But
Probably better.
They're both kind of, you know, like Budweiser-y cheap beer, maybe Falcon style. You know, not amazing, but very easy to drink. There's actually, in like Mexico City and probably other parts of Mexico, whenever I go there, and this last time I was there, so Raul from Impaled, you know, one of my best friends, like, he was like, you know, I just went to Mexico. Basically, we just went to Mexico just to hang out. Like, he still lives in the Bay Area, so I don't get to see him as often. It's like, so we just went to Mexico. We didn't even like the show. Total Death Over Mexico was awesome, but like, it was more about me and Raul fucking hanging out and getting drunk and, like, you know, walking around Mexico City and seeing stuff. But they have this thing called the Salon de Corona, and it's like, they just serve different types of Corona and tacos, and it's fucking incredible. Like, it's my favorite thing to do in Mexico. It's just all the tacos, and yes, exactly.
And it's so cheap, the tacos.
Yeah,
I love it. It's like 25 cents for like a taco when you go to the smaller cities.
It's great because
can we take like 30 seconds?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I'll be back. Very much needed.
Yeah. I decided to get a beer after all, so it's a very
nice.
Wimpy beer, but it's Austrian. It's a Radler, so, you know, easy to drink. It's almost noon here, so it's about, you know, yeah.
It's about 1 o'clock, right?
No, it's 11:30. Still in the morning here.
Oh shit! Here's like 8:30 at night.
At night. Oh, so it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Did you
No,
just-
not even dinner. Just like almost.
It's way
sleep.
past it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
McDonald's time.
Yeah, this is like trying to sop up your drunk stomach, you know, like putting a bunch of greasy shit in there. Yeah.
Midnight snack and beer.
Yeah, it's funny actually about McDonald's in Sweden also is that when Yuke first came here, so Yuke stayed with me in like, man, it might have been like 99 or 98. He flew from Sweden. Him and his friend Robert stayed in my studio apartment that was probably the size of this room. It was a tiny little place. So three dudes, you know, staying there. Like he was planning on coming, and I was like, so how long you get? You know, I pick up at the airport, like, oh, cool, we're hanging out. Like, so, you know, how long you thinking about staying? He's like, because we had talked about like him staying a week or something, but he ended up staying like they both ended up staying like almost a month. In my tiny little studio apartment, but I was like, oh fuck, but it was like, we had so much fun. But at the time that he came was when the mad cow disease was happening. I'm sorry, maybe it was hoof and mouth or whatever. Like there's like a beef issue in Europe at the time.
Yeah.
So like nobody was eating meat at back then.
Oprah stopped actually.
What's that?
Oprah, she got sued because she said that she wasn't eating cow meat anymore, and she actually got sued for that.
Serious? Like the
Yeah,
cow
yeah.
commission? Oh, of course,
Yeah.
the U.S. fucking with the lawsuits, like of course she did. Like of course she did. Why would I be surprised by that at all? But like UK is like the first thing you want to do is kind of like, can we go to a McDonald's? And I was like, yeah. He's all like, I haven't had a burger in such a long time. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure,
Is
man.
this your
Like,
Swedish accent?
this might be a little more Finnish, but you know, actually, my Scandinavian accent is all based on Keo from Rotten Sound. He sounds like the King of Finland when he talks.
Welcome to Vermöskirchen.
Nice guy, by the way.
Yeah, I like Keo.
Yeah. What I really enjoy about it is like if somebody says something that he really doesn't think is okay, you know, like he actually points you out and like, and he actually says like, "What do you mean about that?" Like,
Yeah,
he
sure.
But
He doesn't just let it slide.
Yeah, but he's like a really, really great guy and
Yeah.
a great sense of humor. But
Yeah.
I can actually have respect for like people when they do
Who
things
call
like
it when
that.
they
It's like,
see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the first time I met him, he actually I think it was the first time I met him. Phobia was playing with Rotten Sound in Mexico, and I wasn't in obviously either. I wasn't in either band at the time, not Phobia or anybody. And so I just wanted to go. I just really, really wanted to see Rotten Sound. I was so fucking excited, and so I hopped in the van to go to Mexico with them, and it was kind of crowded. And Keo was like, "What the fuck are you doing in the van? It's so cramped in here now." And like, I was just like, "Oh, he's talking to me." Like, "Oh shit!" Like, you know, he's like, he says exactly, you know, what he's thinking. And I was just like, you know, and he was like all mad about it. And Shane from Phobia was like, "Hey, shut the fuck up, asshole!" And fucking Keo's like, "It's gone in 5 minutes." You know, like, "Oh, okay, fine." You know, like, so yeah, I've been on the receiving end of his straightforward, you know, thing before.
About nothing. Do you still have the discount code for Quantum Industries guitar case?
I do. Yeah, it's LDM10. So so if you my initials and then the number 10. Yeah, so it's like you'll get 10% off those cases. They I think that is like a full $50 off or so, 50 maybe 50 euros, $50, something like that.
It's like 10%, something like that, right?
Yeah, 10%.
Yeah.
So it's a decent amount. Like I wrote those guys because I have I'll just say another case that I got made for I got a custom case made for my Ironbirds, and it's a good protection case. Like well, it's not even that, man. Like I'm trying to be diplomatic because I don't want to talk shit directly about them, but I hate this fucking case so much. Like the lid doesn't fit on it. It's not Anki. I'll say that. It's not Anki. I did want to work with Anki, but when the whole Corona thing happened, like I stopped hearing back from them. So, you know, I moved on. But so anyway, I had this other case, and I'm just like, man, I fucking hate this thing. It's heavy as shit. It's made out of metal, so it dents really badly. And like it's been through like 2 flights, and it's already looks like a smashed beer can. You know, it's like it's fucking. So I hit up the guy at Quantum Industries. I was just asking. I honestly, I was just trying to be a cheapskate, and I was just like, "Hey, do you have like an artist discount?" That's all I really wanted. And they were like, "Yeah, send your Instagram over," and then I was like, "Okay, you know," I'm just thinking, okay, they'll give me like a small discount. Like that's all I really wanted. But then they were like, "Oh yeah, we should partner up," and they were super cool. Like they were like, "We're gonna offer you this deal, and like, you know, like if you." We'll give you a code so like you can tell your friends and everybody they use this code with your name, and like, you know, they'll get a discount. I was like, holy shit, all right, these fucking guys are great. Like they're awesome. So I like, you know, I really like work with them, and I hope things take off with them. They have a case coming out. And now I'm sounding like a fucking commercial, but like they have a case coming out. That's
cool.
They have a case coming out that's for big guitars, so it would fit like your V and like my Ironbirds and stuff like that. So that's really what I wanted. But you know, I was like, fuck it, I might as well get the, you know, a Strat case also for lugging around my guitars. You know, I have probably like 12 or 14 guitars or something, and they're all in. You know, I don't feel like I'm a guitar hoarder. I usually get rid of them, but then I'll just see a guitar. I'm like, ooh, yeah, buy. You know, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't, but I will say they are all in different tunings. So I try to keep 2 guitars in each tuning. So like, you know, I have a couple 7 strings that are in drop A. Then I have, you know, a couple guitars that are in B, a couple guitars in C, a couple guitars in D. And then I actually don't have any guitars that are in regular E, but you know.
Do you have 7 strings or 8 strings?
I have 2 7 strings. Yeah, I have 2 7 strings. I've been playing. So that friend of mine I mentioned earlier, Keith, I've been playing with him. He's a 7-string guy. And I started playing a 7-string with Murder Construct because it was like, this is just easier because we're tuning down to A, drop A. And so I was just like, you know, it was just easier to play a solo like instead of going, you know, or whatever. That it's like, you know, I like to acquire guitars. I fucking just like buying guitars. So I was like, I'll buy a 7-string. Fuck it. I don't see myself as like a 7-string type of guy, but it's, you know, it's a useful tool to have for sure. So, you know, and then also like now I don't have to have any E-tune guitars because like the top 6 strings on that thing are tuned to standard E. So, you know, it works. But yeah, I mean, I actually genuinely like. I have an ESP NT7B and one of Keith's guitars, the Keith Merrow. It's a KM7. It's a Schecter, and they're both of them fucking great guitars. So, you know, they're fun to play, and it's like, you have to have like those certain 7-string pickups, or else it's like super muddy and shit. So it's like they sound good. They sound great on recording. Blah blah blah. So you can edit all of that out.
Do I remember it right that Travis Ryan wrote in Murderous Construct that he talked shit about 9-string guitars, right?
Yeah. Which is funny because that, like, the year that came out in 2012, I think Ibanez has put into in regular production a 9-string guitar. I was at NAMM and I saw it, and there's like a picture of me standing next to like, you know, with the 9-string. That thing is like as big as a fucking surfboard. But, you know, I get what he's saying, but, you know, at the same time, it's like, it's just a tool, like, you know. Yeah. Right. But I know what he means. If you have a 7-string and you only play 0 and 1 on it, you know, yeah.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You can just get a banjo and tune it down.
I used to own one, but it really wasn't for me. I owned it for like 4 or 5 months, but yeah. I'm not a virtuoso guy at all. I fucking suck, actually.
Oh, shut up! I saw your play, man. You're a fucking great guitar player.
Okay, thank you. but like 7, no, it was really, really too much. I really didn't see the idea of it. So I preferred to like use the 6-string. We used it in the Arson project, and we just like tune it down and dropped it. So it's like H drop A.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same as Murder Construct, I think.
Yeah, and it's like heavy enough. You don't need like lower notes
right.
than that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I early on I bought when Ibanez first started making 7-strings, like when I was like 19 or something. Like I just remember because I was working at a job in downtown San Francisco, and there's a Guitar Center not far from it, and I bought like one of the very first set like production 7s as an RG7. I bought it. I used it for Impaled for a little while, but it just didn't sound good. Like it had a really like Yuki, again, this guy's been a big influence on my life apparently, but he got me into the EMG 8585 combination for pickups. And so I was running that, and then that RG7 just had these really thin nasal sounding. So when I switched over to the 7 and started playing that, it played fine, but it just didn't sound good, and I ended up selling that guitar. But yeah, I guess I was an early adopter, but more because I'm a nerd than because like I was such a great player that I needed a one more string, you know.
Yeah. I think we should maybe round this up.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's been like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, but it's been great.
Yeah, that went by quick. Holy shit.
Yeah. Before we say goodbye and all this, good night, good morning, and wherever you are in the world, you know.
Right.
Desert Island.
Sure.
I saw this. I think it was Doug Brown, maybe the guy who made Slave to the Grind movie. He's
Right.
like always put up this fun posts. Like
Yeah.
I actually saw it, and it caught my attention. So Desert Island, the 3 artist discographies or of artists or bands, what would it be for you?
Whole discography?
Yeah.
That actually is not okay. So first and foremost, Secret Chiefs 3. That's my favorite band.
Which band?
Secret Chiefs 3. It's Trace Bruance from Mr. Bungle. Like it's his band he had after Mr. Bungle. Great, interesting music. Like all across, they play like Middle Eastern surf and then like electronic stuff, death metal, everything. So it's fucking all over the map. So that's just for, you know, various different things. Probably the Carcass discography. You know, it's I'm not as familiar with the newer records, but the first 4 Carcass records are fucking, you know, even the first 5. I like Swan Song, so fucking yeah, the first 5 and you know, great fucking records. I can listen to that all the time. And the last one's gonna have to be a toss up between Entombed or Dismember.
Oh, that's a hard one.
That's a really hard one because I love the first 2 Dismember records, and then I love death metal, and kind of to a lesser extent the records after that are decent. You know, they're not bad. Entombed, I love Left Hand Path, I love Clandestine, and I don't really like any of their other records, but I love those first 2. Yeah, like you know, they're again not bad, but just shit. Of course I'm talking shit about somebody's favorite band. That's
I made it when I was drunk.
perfect, even better. Yeah, man, I think I might have to go with Dismember on that one, but I dearly love like those first 2 Entombed records, and they got some other stuff throughout their catalog that's good for sure. Like I just also like, and it's the same at Carcass. Like I've just like, I'm the fucking jaded old fucking bitter fuck that just like, death metal, the fucking kids, you know, like fucking, like I just, you know, for me it's like I like the stuff I liked when I was a kid, and then like new stuff. It's rare, it's not like it never happens, but it's rare that I hear like a really new stuff, even from my old favorite bands that I'm like, fuck yeah, this is amazing, you know. So, you know, it's on me.
That was my GoPro. That was my GoPro saying goodbye.
Oh, I guess you're down to one camera now.
Yeah, but hey, fuck it. Let's do it like this. Insert jingle here.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
All right. See you later.